this was a question that came in through email, and I always answer it, and then I take little notes so I can put it here and just talk it through. I wonder if this is actually really important, but it might be an interesting question if somebody asked. That means somebody else might have the same question. What is the difference between interval training and high intensity interval training? And I have a smirk on because perhaps the only difference is the HI in front of the interval training when we talk about HIIT. So reality is anything that you have a work to rest ratio by definition is interval. If we're going to call it cyclic repeat and not lifting, that's fine, okay? So weightlifting does have a work to rest, but that's not interval training. So if you were to do 3 minutes on the air bike at 50% effort, meaning very, very easy, and then took 3 minutes rest, and then did 3 minutes again of your bike, that's interval training. We would probably agree that it's not high intensity interval training. I can't think of how long it's been, but this was a topic that I thought was actually did matter, because I'm in my head I'm thinking of, I've talked about this before. I don't know that it genuinely mattered, but what is high intensity as it relates to interval training? Can you do something at high intensity for 3 minutes, as I used in the other example? Well, I know I can go as hard as I can for 3 minutes. I know I can do kind of hard for 3 minutes. I know if I use the same standards, I can probably go faster if I did 1 minute than 3 minutes. And I could probably go faster than 30 seconds and harder in 30 seconds than I can in 1 minute. So I don't really know what is high intensity, but again, that's the big difference. I think we know what's not high intensity, but we don't know where this cut line is. And maybe if there is a cut line, it would be anything over, and I don't know, I'm just making this up, and if other people have more objective ways to define this, then I think that's what you should be doing. Again, I'm not sure it matters. But anything over 100% of maximal aerobic speed. Now we know that we can objectively measure maximum aerobic speed, and you then create your numbers, and then anything that's over 100%, you could call that high intensity. That being said, 80% via maximum aerobic speed is still pretty hard, depending who you are. Even though you're still primarily using oxygen as you approach maximal VO2, that's ass kicking. And even though you're primarily using oxygen, you're still working very, very hard. So I really don't know where the cutoff is, or if there's an objective way to measure high intensity interval training. I think we'll say the difference between high intensity interval training and interval training is simply we know what's not high intensity if something's relatively easy. To me, I don't know that this discussion, the way I'm framing it, is terribly important. We're going to use times and intensities, aka speeds in this case, to elicit certain adaptations. I don't really care what it's called, and certainly there's different perceptions of what's hard or high intensity or not. We're going to look to accomplish certain things that we think if we do it at this intensity, if we do it for this long, then this is the adaptation that we're going to elicit. So not only would I not say things like aerobic, anaerobic, etc., I probably also wouldn't be using interval or high intensity interval training.